On this Friday night, Raptors fever still gripping the city after last night's big win.
I'm so proud to be Canadian, and we got this. 3 more, baby. 3 more. We the North.
Well, with the celebrations over, it's time to look ahead. What's in store for Game 2? Plus,
4, 5, cut.
more to celebrate than just the win. A community center in the East End getting a makeover thanks to NBA Cares. And the journey of the jersey. We'll tell you the lengths one man went to for Drake to wear his jersey of choice. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. 23 and a half hours later, and the city is still buzzing about last night's Raptors playoff win. A big reason fans are celebrating today was that huge effort by Pascal Siakam, a player who came to the game later than most and is now the pride of the city. Greg Ross reports.
In Game 1, while Pascal Siakam was doing this,
Pascal drives, backs it up and in!
Fans at Tribe Lounge Cameroonian restaurant in North York were doing this.
Like, yeah, we're all jumping on the chairs and all. Took it personal. It was awesome.
It's personal for them because Siakam is a fellow Cameroonian, and his success on the court has not only inspired this small but passionate community here in Toronto, it's also capturing the imagination of fans back in Africa.
They view him as something like a legend almost.
I definitely have a lot of support from my fellow Cameroonians and just Africa in general.
In just one season, Siakam has gone from being a bench player for the Raptors to one of their offensive leaders. He's also earned the respect of his peers.
He's become second option on his team, some nights the first option.
Warriors forward Draymond Green has been tasked with guarding Siakam in the NBA Finals. He admits Siakam has come a long way in just 1 year.
You know, I can't say I foresaw that. I played against him last year. I had no clue he'd be this guy this year.
Siakam is basking in the glow of the NBA spotlight these days, although he admits there is one person he wishes he could share it with.
I went through something that I consider, the hardest moment of my life, when my dad passed away.
In 2014, when Siakam was still in college, he lost his father after a car accident. He's regularly paid tribute to his father throughout the playoffs with notes written on his shoes.
I think that was kind of like a turning point in my life, just going through that type of adversity, and it kind of definitely made me the person I am today.
And the person he's become today is a fan favorite here in Toronto, and that comes with its perks. You've heard of Kawhi and Dine, where restaurants around Toronto are offering Kawhi Leonard free meals for life if he re-signs. Well, there's certainly an open invitation if Pascal Siakam wants to go to Tribe Lounge Restaurant in North York and have a meal there. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
And although last night's game is something to celebrate for Raptors fans, both teams are focused now on the bigger picture today, saying Game 1 is now behind them.
I think we've tried to do a conscious thought process of not really caring what the score of the series is, right? I think we know that the games are really hard, and we know that after a win, the team that gets beat gets really determined.
We've been up 3-1 and lost a series. We've been down 3-1 and won a series, everything in between. So nothing's going to catch these guys off guard.
Well, with the NBA's marketing machine descending on Toronto this week, today saw what is apparently a tradition. The league's charity program did a quick transformation of a local rec center, providing gear for a learn and play center at the Jimmy Simpson Rec Center in Leslieville. As Angelina King tells us, it's just the latest example of the Raptors' support for the community.
Members of the Toronto Raptors and some of their biggest fans are celebrating more than last night's major win. They're checking out some transformed digs for kids in Toronto to learn and play. And today they got to do that with their heroes.
Well, you're a superstar, so you go first.
I'm not a superstar, but I'll go first.
Take advantage of this center, use the resources, use the people around you, your parents, your teachers.
Thanks to the Raptors and NBA Cares, 4 spaces, including a rec room and gym, were quickly transformed in the last week with a Raptors-inspired look.
It demonstrates that the NBA is a lot more than just the game on the floor.
The Raptors and related organizations have a long history of supporting Toronto, donating time, money, and equipment, even ticket sales to help a young victim of a recent hit and run. Then there's the MLSE Launchpad, a brand new facility that opened up 2 years ago with kids and their success in mind, where free programs encourage them to reach their full potential through sport.
And sometimes we have special visitors. The Raptors came one time.
It's nurturing knowing that we're not alone, that the Raptors are involved.
And the support for Toronto doesn't stop there. Mayor John Tory started a challenge against the mayor of Oakland during the finals to see which city is more charitable. All the money raised by Raptors fans here will go toward building the new Sick Kids Hospital.
We set a goal and then we exceeded it within 24 hours. So it was, we were hoping to raise about $10,000. We're now well over $12,000.
Which is more than double what Oakland has raised so far. The goal has now been raised to $25,000, all to help the young Raptors fans who watch the games in their very own Jurassic Park.
Kawhi Leonard take the W and give them the big fat L. Go Raptors, you got this.
You say go Raptors?
The Raptors supporting Toronto in big ways and giving the smallest fans something to cheer about. Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.
Colette Kennedy's here with the first look at the forecast. Bit of a mixed forecast in store for the weekend.
Yeah, it is one of those things where you're trying to plan maybe what you want to do. When are you going to do the outside stuff? When will you need to pull things indoors? And let me see if I can kind of walk you through with the timing here, because we do have some wet conditions coming through. Primarily through the evening hours, we're seeing stuff to the east of us, but still a few spotty showers. Tomorrow morning, a little patchy fog. There is that potential because of the moisture in the air and not a lot of mixing in terms of the winds not being very strong. Now, it does appear that we will start off tomorrow not badly. Dry. We may even get some sunshine, which will be quite nice. However, that sunshine leads to some volatility. So not only some showers, but thunderstorms, that potential there coming through into the midday. And then behind that, we even have the chance of seeing more precipitation later on into the afternoon and evening hours. That rolls through, again, some breaks. And then as for what's going to happen into Sunday, you're going to have to come back a little later in the show, and I'll tell you about the second half of the weekend. How's that for a tease? Overnight tonight, though, 10 degrees. And tomorrow afternoon, here and there, some wet conditions, some heavy downpours with a few isolated thunderstorms, and 21 degrees for us. A little cooler. I'll give you that hint, Mike, into Sunday.
You're leaving us on a cliffhanger.
Yes, yes. We want everyone to stick around.
Thank you, Colette.
You're welcome.
A 44-year-old woman is dead following a 3-vehicle crash in Mississauga tonight. This happened at Dundas Street and Lerma Road just before 7 o'clock. The woman was a passenger in one of the vehicles. 5 other people were taken to hospital where they were treated for their injuries. Peel police are asking anyone who witnessed the crash to contact their Major Collision Bureau. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to be warm enough to head into the water this weekend, but if you were brave enough to try, your options are actually limited. Toronto is pushing back the official opening date of its beaches because of high water levels. Taylor Simmons has more.
I'm going to the water.
The warm weather had plenty out at Woodbine Beach today, some braver than others.
It's so fun! May 6th, I usually go in the water every year.
Created your own personal hot tub?
Yes, it's not really hot. It's more like a cool tub, but it works.
High spirits contending with high water levels.
I was here last year, none of this was here.
A pond has formed on the beach with Lake Ontario higher than ever. Water levels reached more than 76 meters earlier this week. The Toronto Region Conservation Authority says 2017 was similar, but one big difference.
We didn't have as many windstorms pass through at the same time. We're not so lucky this year.
The resulting waves can make it unsafe for swimmers. Levels are expected to get even higher over the next week, pushing city officials to delay official beach openings.
People can swim freely in the lake at their own risk, of course. People need to be very careful and mindful of the hazards around swimming generally, but the shoreline as well, because it has eroded in many places.
Only 5 beaches will partially open tomorrow: Bluffers, Center Island, Cherry, Balmy, and Woodbine.
When we don't have a beach open, so no lifeguards are on duty, change facilities, washroom facilities, those types of things would not be open. We wouldn't be doing any cleaning of the beaches.
The Conservation Authority says it's coming up with a plan to help with future flooding and delays.
Things like naturalized sand dunes along beaches, which help trap some of that sand and create, a more of a barrier towards the lake.
For now, at least, some say staying out of the water is fine with them.
Yeah, it's definitely way too cold to go in the water right now.
For those eager to take a refreshing dip, city officials say they'll continue to monitor water levels and beaches should be officially open within the next 2 weeks. Taylor Simmons, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, no, this boat isn't named after last night's Raptors win. Subway buses and streetcars not your thing? How about a cruise ship? The province is looking to expand the number of luxury cruise liners on the Great Lakes. We'll have details on that coming up. Welcome back. When you think of big cruise destinations, the Caribbean or the Mediterranean may come to mind. What about Lake Ontario? The province is getting all aboard a new campaign to encourage the growth of a domestic cruise ship industry. As Philip Lishanik explains, there's hope it will become a huge new source of tourist dollars.
They're happily surprised when they come on the Great Lakes. The one I hear the most is, I never knew this was here.
Over his 3 decades as a captain, Gary Kerr has seen exciting ports of call all around the world. But he calls the Great Lakes a hidden gem, one that more and more are discovering.
They come, I think, with a little bit low expectations. Given the itinerary, Detroit and Cleveland, they're like this when they hear that. And when they get there and they have a great time, they're pleasantly surprised. So it's a winner for us.
The Victory is one of a growing number of cruise ships docking in the Port of Toronto. This year, there'll be 35 cruise ship visits. It's more than double last year. And that's changing how many look at the city's harbor.
There's so many different ways to enjoy our waterfront, and we're all seeing it again with fresh eyes. And I think that's part of the energy and the excitement in the cruise ship business.
The Victory and her sister ship, the Victory 2, will make 16 visits here this summer, bringing thousands of tourists and economic benefits here and the 9 ports of call along the way. The American Queen Steamboat Company has invested millions in bringing the Victory cruise ships here, and Ontario would like to encourage more cruise ship lines to chart a course to the Great Lakes. The province is joining with Michigan and other Great Lakes states to promote the cruises internationally.
One of the things we noticed was that there's opportunities in the province that really haven't been explored or fully developed. This is one of them.
It's hoped a coordinated effort to get the word out will grow a handful of cruise lines into dozens. But there are concerns about what that increase in traffic will do to the water quality.
I mean, aside from the fact that 40 million people drink from these lakes, I think by us now showcasing them and bringing people to them, it's going to require us to make sure that we look after them maybe a lot better than we used to in the past.
Province hopes the Cruise the Great Lakes campaign will mean more ships and more shore visits and increase the flow of cash into Ontario's $34 billion tourism industry. Phil Duchesnoy, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, Torontonians may be riding high on the Raptors' success. You may have forgotten that the Stanley Cup Finals are underway right now as well. Something that might also surprise you, the St. Louis Blues owe their success this year in part to a local boy. We'll have his story after the break.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
The Blue Jays with a late game in Colorado tonight, and pitcher Edwin Jackson got rocked early. It was 4-0 by the end of the first. By the end of the third, Colorado was up 10-2 right now in the eighth. It is 13-4. So instead, let's look to the pool and the Champions Swim Series in Indianapolis. Kylie Mass started with a third-place finish in the 200-meter backstroke, but came back for tie for first in the 50-meter event. Congrats to her. And then Penny Alexiak finished third in the 100-meter butterfly. You can stream the action tomorrow on cbcsports.ca. Well, the Raptors may have ignited a blaze of enthusiasm as they chase that NBA championship. But the battle for the Stanley Cup is also underway between the St. Louis Blues and some team from Boston. So no Canadian team in the final, but one local boy is a standout. Ali Chiasson has more.
We're not on assignment in St. Louis.
I love that.
We're at Jordan Binnington's Toronto family home, the star goalie for the St. Louis Blues.
This is one of my faves. We bring him to lots of family events because he can't always, attend.
Jordan hasn't been home for a while. He's been busy.
Oh, what a save by Binnington!
Busy taking the St. Louis Blues from dead last in the NHL rankings to the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Although he's one of the younger kids in our street in Oak Ridges, he would go door to door and get a road hockey game going.
I said, we're having tryouts for the Von Ranger 8-year-old team. Why don't you bring him out and we'll see where it goes.
Coach Mike Valascuro remembers the early days and the moment he knew Jordan was going to go far.
We put him on the ice, and I remember taking a shot, and the puck hit him in the head, and the boy did not flinch. Went to the father, and I said, I'd like him on the team. I think he's made to be in net.
And Dad's been collecting helmets ever since.
This was his first mask because he was always a Cujo fan. These ones here, he all designed by himself. This is the jersey when he got drafted in 2011.
The rookie would only play once in 6 years, until January 7th, 2019.
All of a sudden the phone lit up and they said, hey, Jordan's going in net. Never mind he won, he got a shutout.
In his first start in the NHL.
His career has taken off since winning Rookie of the Month, setting shutout records.
Do I look nervous?
No.
Nerves of steel. Who does he get that from?
Do you get nervous?
Not generally, no.
Okay.
Binnington faced some heat off the ice recently. Some old, racially insensitive tweets of his resurfaced. Binnington brushed the tweets off as sarcasm, neither defending nor denouncing what he said.
Just said, I was young. I'm here to play hockey.
The series is tied between the Blues and the Bruins in the fight for the cup.
I don't want to get emotional.
However it turns out for her son and his team, she hopes hockey families hear this.
I know it's hard, hockey parents, and some days you feel like, it's just too much, but you do it because they love it so much.
Fans, too.
And a save by Binnington.
Yeah, just treasure every minute.
Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
Colette's back with her extended look on the forecast. You left us on a cliffhanger. I felt like I was watching an Avengers movie here. What's going to happen Sunday?
Maybe not that good of a cliffhanger, but I am going to get to that. We're going to take the whole weekend into account now so you can do some planning here. One thing I want to point out, though, and I don't anticipate we're going to be seeing this weekend, but look at this record rain, nearly 100 millimeters. That was back in 1944. You can understand why that record is long-standing. Average height this time of year, by now we're rounding that up to about 22 degrees. Some days we get there, some days we just don't quite get there, like today. Some precipitation mostly to the east, but through the overnight hours, a little patchy fog. Tomorrow morning starting off with some dry conditions. Then we'll likely see a few waves kind of going through with not only some showery activity, but depending how much sunshine we get, that enhances the risk of seeing some thunderstorms. So we could have some thunderstorms with some heavier downpours, but sort of coming in these waves. Then we dry out a little bit to the early evening, and then here we go. Let's get you through that cliffhanger. So Saturday night into Sunday, there'll be some wet conditions in the overnight hours. Early Sunday morning, I anticipate a few of these lingering, but that's pretty early on Sunday. Then there'll still be a few clouds hanging in, and as we roll this forward through the day, we'll even see those clouds being carved out. So we will get some sunshine, and most of Sunday's actually looking pretty good now. But what I want to caution you about that second half of the weekend is that behind this system, the winds are going to turn towards the northwest. They're going to be a little bit breezy, so the sustained winds at about 30 kilometers an hour, but we'll be seeing gusts closer to 50 or even a little over 50. And with it coming from the northwest, it's going to feel a bit cool. Not only that, but the temperatures will be just running a little bit below seasonal as well. We'll show you those in just a second on the 5-day. Some isolated thunderstorm activity with those mid-teens for southwestern Ontario. And again, tomorrow, that potential for some heavy downpours. Could have some isolated severe storms through here. Mid-20s for the most part, 25 degrees your high for the Windsor area. Overnight tonight, again, just kind of in those double digits there with a few spotty showers, but mostly that's to the east. However, tomorrow, we're more likely to see those waves of precipitation coming through. Temperatures, though, into the low 20s, 19 to about 22, 23 for St. Catharines area. But this is what I'm talking about for Sunday. The high about 18, but because those winds strong from the northwest, it's going to feel a little cooler. The breezy conditions actually carry on into Monday, and the temperature even cooler still as that air mass settles in. So 16 for the high, and then we'll start to ramp it up again as we go into midweek next week, Mike.
Okay, thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
I just kind of digged in my little black book, so to speak, and I just started texting people, and I was like, who could possibly have this jersey?
It was a search for a Raptors Del Curry jersey, and it was for none other than the Six rapper Drake. After the break, we'll tell you the story of how they found each other. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Drake has been in the spotlight for his antics during these NBA playoffs. He's been rubbing shoulders, taking lint out of hair, and trolling whatever team the Raps have been facing. Last night was no exception, although he was more subdued. He was taking aim at Warrior star Steph Curry by rocking his dad's jersey. Del Curry played for the Raptors for 3 years, and we spoke to the New York man who made it all happen.
I've actually been selling stuff to Drake for a while now. He has quite a few pieces from me. I've never really dealt with him directly, but like most major celebrities, they got teams of people that work for them. So I deal with a stylist team, and they hit me up from time to time asking me for stuff that, when they hit me up for this jersey, I had very low confidence that I was going to be able to find it because the proximity in which they needed it, which was 2 days before. And it's a very odd jersey. As somebody who's been collecting jerseys his entire life, I don't know if I've ever actually seen a Del Curry authentic retail jersey. They just it's an oddball guy, you know what I mean? So what I did was, I just kind of digged in my little black book, so to speak, and I just started texting people, and I was like, who could possibly have this jersey? And I hit up my friend Evan, and he happened to know somebody who was a big Del Curry collector, and this guy happened to be in Queens, New York, which is very close to where I live. So I was like, all right, obviously we need to make this happen. So I struck a deal with the guy, with the help of my friend, and the thing is that they wanted me to overnight it, and I had already overnighted them stuff before, and FedEx is not 100% overnight. So I was like, listen, if you guys need this for game one, FedEx is telling me there's a possibility it might get there Friday. So I was like, you know what? I'm hopping in the car right now. I was like, I'm in Queens. I always wanted to go to Toronto. I got a buddy to make the road trip with. It seemed like everything was kind of right time. So we did it, man. And we hopped in the car and we got there.
I was wondering how he got that shirt. Incredible story. Before we go, Quirks and Quarks looks at a side of video games you might not have heard about before. The positive side. It's actually going to look at new science that's emerging, suggesting that not only are some games not addictive or leading to moral decay, they might even be beneficial and might have benefits to all that time spent playing. You can hear that tomorrow at noon on CBC Radio 1. Maribel Tarouk has your next local news tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Have a great weekend. Good night.